This is Andi Purewal of Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We are in London and I'm joined by the towering David Adeleye. David, firstly, how are you?
Very well, can't complain. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to catch up. Obviously, just noting my tripod is eye level with you, which having a joke there. Told everyone's always pointing up. You're a big guy, David, so it's a big tripod to match that. Obviously, we're here for Joyce-Hammer. We just had the weigh-in. What do you make of tomorrow night's fight between the pair of them?
Good fight. You know, Usyk-Hammer is like a world level gatekeeper, I'd say. You know, he's boxed a lot of people. That's like, you know, Tony Oakers, Frank Sanchez. He's boxed a lot of people that are kind of like climbing up the ladders to try and get to world level stage. Of course, Joyce is trying to get to world level stage, so it's only right he fights someone like Usyk-Hammer that's durable as well. So tomorrow should be a good night. You know, I spoke to Joyce earlier. He said he might even go the distance. You know, so I suppose he's just going out there to have fun. I mean, when you go to look for these knockouts, sometimes they don't always come. Sometimes it's better to go out there and have some fun. So yeah.
Hammer's, as you said, been noted for being durable, but the one fight which British fans of most recent memory will remember is the Hughie-Fury one a couple of fights ago. Stopped him in the 5th round when Hughie isn't known for being a heavy-handed fighter. With that in mind and knowing Joe's relentless style, his pressure, and he is heavy-handed, would you be surprised if this was to go the distance?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Joe's definitely got power in both hands. But, you know, he's not the sort of person that relies on one-punch power. You know, he goes out there and does it in punches and bunches. So you just got to go out there and do that tomorrow. But I think he'll stop him. I think he'll stop him.
What did you make of the entire Joseph Parker situation, David? Obviously, seeing that fight fall through, what was your take from outside looking in?
I'm cool with both of them, man, and I love Parker, man. Parker's like a big bro, so I ain't never gonna diss him. But it's a good fight at the same time. Good fight. I mean, bloody hell, good fight. But doesn't make sense for him. Then it doesn't make sense. You know, he went and did the business avenue. Went and signed with Sky Sports. So look, if that fight's gonna happen, I'm assuming it's gonna happen further down the line.
I remember speaking to you both, and he jumped in our interview after the Tyson Fury fight with Dillian White at Wembley, and you can see the relationship you both have. So have you spoken to him since? As he said, he still wants to face Joe, but it would just be maybe a couple months down the line, or in September, has been mentioned.
No, if he was to speak, it would be on like different things, you know, just like normal generic things. But on that, he hasn't spoken to me about it. He has his reasons. The man's a smart man. You know, he was a world champion. You know, he's well off. He's living good. So he knows what's good for him. He knows what's not good for him. So.
Speaking of world champions, we had another press conference this week between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua ahead of their rematch on August 20th. I'm sure you'll be tuning in and watching like the rest of us, but what's your take, David? What happens this time around?
Good will and Joshua, you know, bangs him up. And then Joshua goes on to do the great things he's doing. But nobody knows, innit? Sometimes it's just not how the cookie crumbles. God willing, and you know, the rematch goes in his favour. We'll see, August 20th.
If he wins that, do you think that's the only fight which would tempt Tyson Fury out of his so-called retirement?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I don't see nothing else really tempting him. I'd love to see Tyson Fury against Joshua against Wilder. You know, just them three, just kind of mixing. I mean, Wilder and Tyson's kind of done now. I mean, that's out the water. So we'd like to see Wilder and Joshua, or Wilder and Fury.
Don't know, Wilder, people keep kind of forgetting that he's announced he's going to return. As to when or who he'll be facing is yet to be known. But you mentioned everyone would love to see the AJ fight. Dillian White's been mentioned recently. How much of a threat does he still pose to the heavyweight division? I
mean, he's going to pose a threat for the next 5-6 years. You know, power is the last thing to go, as they always say. So I mean, as long as he knows how to throw a punch, he'll always be a danger.
Obviously, another heavyweight of British descent that we saw recently out in Miami was Daniel Dubois picking up that regular title. What did you make of his victory against Trevor Bryan?
Good. Trevor Bryan looked pants. He looked pants. The taxi driver that I used could probably do a better job. Just what it is. I don't know, his legs must have turned to jelly. Got there, got starstruck. I mean, you saw the performance yourself. You know, that's not a performance of a world champion. And Trevor Bryan talks a good game. You know, if that was my world title shot, I'd be laughing all day long. I'd stop him now.
I mean, you say you stop him now. Would you be speaking to Frank saying to him, like, listen, I know he hasn't got that title anymore, but would you be happy to face him next if it was presented to you?
No point. He was pants. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He's pants. We don't want him. If he was starting to call me out, giving it a big one, and he had something on the line, I'd go there for free and let my hands go on him and punch him up. But there's no point right now.
What is next for you then, David?
I'm just staying in my lane, man. That's one thing about me. I don't stop. I'm being real. I'm not going to start calling out all of these world level fighters. I'm not at that level yet. I'm staying in my lane. That's why I don't ever crash. I just stay in my lane and focus what's in front of me, and then just go out from there. So I just listen to the people that are around me. You know, they're better suited, and they're better suited for the job to tell me what to do.
We know in the past you've spoken about a potential Nathan-Gorman fight. Nathan and Fabio Wardley have both said they want to fight for the British title. Joe Joyce holds that. He said he would look to vacate it because he wants to move to World Honours. But for yourself, if that became vacant, where do you think you fit in between Nathan or Fabio? Do you think you're above them? Do you think you're in between them? Do you think you're just beneath them?
In terms of fights and whatnot,
where you are in your career, where would you place
it? They're further on in their career, of course, but I mean, I'd fight both of them. You know, I'm not going to start calling them out. It becomes boring, and it's about me. My career is about me, so I don't really think about them. But I mean, credit to them if they do fight for it. You know, what's written for me can't be changed. So, however, if anything plays out, is how it plays out.
It's an interesting change I can notice with you now, David, because I remember maybe in the earlier stages of your career, you was a bit more kind of, I want to face him guy, I want to face that guy. Is it just something you've learned along the way, and especially on the back of that Sokolowski fight, where you did have your critics and you was open to those criticisms as well, that it's just made you realise that maybe it wasn't the way for you to go? Would you say that's fair?
No, that's not the reason why that's not. No, I mean, of course, the critics are going to be there, and you know what I'm saying, everyone's going to have an opinion, but that's not the reason why I'm not calling them out. The reason I'm not calling them out is because I'm just giving these guys airtime. When they do interviews, I don't ever hear my name mentioned in their interviews. But when it's in my interviews, their name's always somehow brought up. So I started to learn. I'm not going to start giving them the airtime no more. It's about me, it's not about them. But in terms, I'll beat both of them up now. It's just what it is. I genuinely believe that. I'm not going to start saying certain things, and I know there's going to be punchlines for the interviews, but you ask me, like I said to you, I don't start saying things that I don't believe. You can't ask me to go and fight Joshua, Usyk, Fury, Wilder now, because I say I'm not ready for that. You ask me for these guys, I genuinely believe I'll do what I've got to do.
So why do you believe that your name isn't mentioned amongst those?
I don't actually know. You got to ask the people that are behind the camera, or maybe they give the interviewers the heads up to say don't mention so and so beforehand. So I don't know. But me, I'm not really like that. It is what it is.
Well, I'll be sure to bring up your name next time I speak to both of them, David, just for you. But I appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to leave on? Anything you'd like to say to your fans, your followers?
Keep supporting, and I appreciate you guys, and look out for me soon. I'll definitely be fighting soon.